good morning to you. Last night, the Labour leader Jeremy Corbyn said he and his party were ready to fight and win a general election.
The leader of the opposition told supporters in Salford that he would be delighted if the country went to the polls.
When the election comes, I'm ready for it, you're ready for it, we're ready for it. We'll take that message out there, and above all, we will win for the people of this country. We will defeat this lot. We will bring about that sense of justice and equality.
Stop.
Well, apologies for the sound behind me, but of course people are able to protest if they would like to. We are joined now by Labour's Shadow Attorney General, Baroness Shami Chakrabarti. Morning to you. Thanks so much for joining us. So Jeremy Corbyn there saying he is ready for an election, but it does seem to be some confusion, and we've spoken to members of the Labour Party here on Breakfast, between if that really is the case and whether or not the party would vote for a general election if there were a vote.
Oh, of course, but the first thing to deal with today is this legislation to lock down this cabal of elitists who are currently squatting in number 10 to make sure we do not crash out on October the 31st. That is the priority this morning. That's why this morning the Leader of the Opposition, Jeremy Corbyn, is meeting once more with a group of cross-party colleagues, the other opposition leaders and so on, to make sure that our parliamentary priority in the next couple of days is to legislate to prevent a no-deal crash out.
I do understand that, but the general election does seem to be on the horizon at some time. So can I just come back to you on Louise's point there? Because Tony Lloyd was saying last night on the television that that Labour won't back a general election while no deal is on the table. We heard what Jeremy Corbyn said in Salford, that he would welcome and would be delighted if an election is called. Yeah. So what is Labour's actual official position?
So just to be clear, this is just a matter of sequencing. Of course, we always want a general election because you don't end austerity and food bank Britain without a general election, but there is an order of priority. And today and tomorrow, the primary priority, working across parties, is to legislate against a disastrous no deal, because it would be disastrous for poor and working people most of all.
OK, let's talk about sequencing then. So have you got the numbers, as far as you know, and by how many votes would that go through if it does go through?
Well, it's very, very difficult to predict precise numbers because, of course, people, say one thing and don't always deliver. And you're asking people to put nation before party, as the demonstrator is shouting in the background. So I can't be precise about that, and I also will not, forgive me, be precise about the tactics, because we are dealing with people who are prepared to shut down Parliament. We are dealing with people who will march young women out of number 10 at gunpoint. So we are not dealing with anything that I've seen before in my working lifetime. However, the priority today...
What's the gunpoint reference? What's that about?
I'm saying that I believe that the people who are currently in number 10 are a bunch of thugs with no respect for decency, for courtesy, or even the rule of law.
Gunpoint, you said that.
Well, there was a young. There were reports, widely reported, of a young Conservative worker, a woman, who was escorted out of the building by an armed police officer.
Can I also Again, and to just come back to so people are really clear watching.
Yeah.
So let's say, for example, and you're saying that it's very tight, and you're talking about tactics. Let's say you do manage to get control of Parliament, stop the no deal. Let's say then the Prime Minister puts a vote to Parliament about a general election. OK, what is the Labour Party going to do? Because this decision could come within the next 24 hours.
Well,
what's going to happen?
Well, all I will say is that, of course, we always want a general election because we want to end austerity. But Jeremy is meeting with his cross-party colleagues this morning. They will work as a priority for this legislation to prevent no deal.
These decisions are coming soon, aren't they?
They are, and it's going to move very, very quickly. But we believe that we can have both a legislative lockdown to prevent Boris Johnson and his mates crashing the country out, and we can also, at the appropriate moment when we can secure it, have a general election.
I think lots of
we need both.
Yesterday we spoke to a number of MPs on the programme. Apologies, Louise. A number of MPs on our programme yesterday, and I think all of our viewers, when they get in contact with us, they ask for the clarity, and they want to know exactly, what if this happened, what would your party do? I think that's really helpful this morning. So let's jump a bit into the future. Let's say there is a general election, and Labour get in power. So Jeremy Corbyn's on, you talk about who's in number 10 at the moment. Mr Corbyn's in number 10, Labour Party in power. What happens with Brexit? Would Brexit happen under a Labour government?
Well, we have said that we will put this matter back to the people, but with a deal to put to the people and with an option to remain, because the country has been so split for so long. Parliament has been so split for so long. There are other priorities as well as Brexit, like ending austerity first and foremost. What we will attempt to do is to prevent a disastrous no deal, to negotiate the best deal we possibly can, but put it honestly back to the people for another vote versus remain.
OK, so just to be clear, because I'm not sure I'm entirely clear.
OK.
So just going back to that question about general election, if the Prime Minister were to call a general election, is the Labour Party going to vote for it? And does timing matter? You know, would
timing does matter.
Well, so right, okay.
So what we need to do as a priority is to legislate to prevent a crash out during the period of a general election campaign.
Okay, so if it were to be before the 31st of October, would the party vote for it?
It depends whether we've managed to secure this legislative lockdown to prevent any kind of accidental crashing out, and indeed to prevent Boris Johnson and his thugs from agreeing one thing, saying, you know, we won't crash out, before a general election, and then delaying the general election, for example, so it happens after October the 31st. The reason why this is a little confused is that we are not dealing with normal people with normal respect for Parliament or the law. And so we have to be nimble in response, and we are trying to do that working across parties in the House of Commons.
Shami Chakrabarti, thank you very much for your point of view here on Breakfast. And as we see, we are trying to get sort of clarity from all the parties on this. Thank you very much indeed for your time.
We will make America great again.